The colored candles on the table slowly burned down, one by one, until the last little flame vanished into a thin wisp of smoke. I set my phone down. The call never went through. With a fork, I cut into the birthday cake. "Happy birthday to me," I whispered. "Today is my 30th birthday. I went all out, cooked myself a special dinner, ordered a cake, even told Chloe to come home early from work. But she got called away again. Her excuse this time was that it was a big deal. The company was closing early for a celebration dinner, and as the VP of sales, she had to be there. The clock ticked past 10, and I couldn't help trying her number again. To my surprise, she picked up. I tried to keep my voice steady. "Chloe, when are you coming home?" There was a pause. "Ethan," she said, her voice hesitant. "The party's just getting started. It's going to be a late night." My face felt tight. I pushed, not ready to give up. "It's already 10, Chloe. It's my birthday, you." I stopped, waiting for her to say something. Silence. Then she spoke again, her voice layered with guilt. "I'm sorry, Ethan. This was planned a while ago. The company landed a massive account. Everyone's ecstatic. If I leave now, I'll ruin the mood. Please try to understand. I'll make it up to you when I get home." The smile I'd been holding on to finally disappeared. "So it's okay to ruin my mood instead? That's what you're saying?" I paused, my voice low. "This celebration, it's for him, isn't it?" A flicker of panic crept into her tone. "Ethan, don't jump to conclusions. Yes, Caleb was the lead on this deal, but the whole company's celebrating." "The whole company except for me and most of the engineering team," I said with a bitter laugh. "You can't even lie to yourself convincingly. Who the hell goes to a corporate party that runs past midnight except for junior associates? Wouldn't most people rather be home sleeping?" My words must have hit a nerve, because her tone sharpened. "Can you stop with the baseless accusations? I'm the VP of sales. What's wrong with me attending a celebration dinner? There's nothing going on between Caleb and me. And besides, what's the big deal about a stupid birthday? Can't we just celebrate it tomorrow?" "A stupid birthday?" I repeated, the words tasting like ash. "Fine. I hope you all have a great time." My voice turned cold as I hung up. I poured myself a glass of red wine and downed it in one go. The bitterness filled my mouth. Chloe and I have known each other for over a decade. We started the company right after college, me as the tech guy, leading a small team of coders, building our flagship security software from scratch. She was the people person, the natural networker who handled sales and marketing. We grew from a tiny office surviving on instant ramen to a tech company worth tens of millions. Only we knew what it took to get there. Back then, our love felt pure. We'd split a single hot dog, share a slice of pizza bite for bite. Now, I'm the CTO and she's the VP of sales. But the time we spend together keeps shrinking. The engagement ring I bought has been sitting in my drawer for months. Every time I plan to propose, something always comes up. I looked at my reflection in the mirror and let out a hollow laugh. I was wearing a tailored suit, tall, in good shape. 10+ years hunched over a keyboard hadn't given me a gut or a bald spot. At 30, I didn't look old. I carried the quiet confidence of a man who knew his craft. Maybe that's how I managed to win Chloe, the undisputed queen of our department back in college. Chloe, of course, is stunning. She was the campus beauty then, and now, nearing 30, time has only refined her. The girlish innocence has been replaced by the allure of a confident, mature woman, seductive, composed, intoxicating. With her looks, her position, and her charisma, she's become a well-known face in Austin's tech scene. Everyone always told me how lucky I was. Ethan Hayes, the guy who had it, all love and success. Friends used to joke about crashing our wedding just to get a glass of champagne. I used to believe it too. It was the perfect picture. She handled the business, I handled the tech. We'd build our empire together, start a family, live a perfect life. But everything changed when the intern showed up. 3 months ago, a kid named Caleb Vance joined the sales department. I didn't think much of it's always had high turnover. I've seen 100 resumes like his. But then Chloe started mentioning his name first, casually. Then more and more often, until I couldn't ignore the knot in my stomach. Soon, she officially took him under her wing, calling him her protege, made him her executive assistant, and handed him some of her biggest accounts. When I found out, I stormed into her office. We had a massive fight, but she kept repeating the same lines. He was just talented. She was mentoring him. I was overreacting and embarrassing her in front of her team. "How am I supposed to lead them if you act like this?" she said. And now, tonight, Caleb closes one big deal. And Chloe throws him a massive party, inviting the entire company except me. She didn't even care that it was my birthday. That's when it finally hit me. The future I imagined was only a dream that existed in my head alone. "Chloe, what the hell are you doing?" I muttered, lighting a cigarette and stepping onto the balcony. The soft breeze made the ember glow brighter. Maybe things had just changed. Maybe I was still in the same place while she was chasing a thrill of her own. I decided I'd confront her tomorrow, lay it all out. If we couldn't fix it, we were done. I finished the bottle of wine, my head heavy and numb. She never called back. It was clear she had made her choice. Or maybe she just didn't care anymore. I took a deep breath and scrolled through TikTok to distract myself. Satisfying videos of power washing decks, restoring furniture, building cabins, the usual algorithm for a tech guy. Then one video stopped me cold. My whole body went numb. It felt like someone had punched me in the chest, knocking the air out of my lungs. I zoomed in slowly, inch by inch, my hands trembling. There was no doubt. The woman in the video, the one sitting in that private restaurant room next to the intern, Caleb was Chloe, the same woman I had shared my life with for nearly a decade. Their faces were so close. They were practically touching. People off camera were chanting and cheering, "Kiss her, kiss her." Chloe's face was flushed and smiling as she leaned in and gave Caleb a quick, playful peck on the cheek. The room burst into laughter and applause. The video's caption read, "Congrats to my boy Caleb on finding true love." My hands were shaking so hard I could barely hold the phone. My chest ached with a pain so sharp it felt physical. "So this is your protege, Chloe. This is your celebration dinner. You really think I don't have a breaking point?" My eyes went cold. I took a screenshot of the video, feeling a hard, icy resolve settle in. Then I grabbed my keys and drove straight to the Grand Austin Hotel, the location tagged in the video. She cheated on me. The thought kept looping in my head like a broken record. No excuse or explanation could make this right. That video was a knife straight through my heart. Rage burned behind my eyes. "You want to make a fool out of me, Chloe? Fine. But no one's walking away from this clean." It took less than 20 minutes to get to the hotel. The Grand Austin was one of the most luxurious 5-star spots in the city, famous for its high-end banquet halls. A party here would cost at least $10,000. Our company usually went for casual restaurants, successful. Yes, but still watching expenses. Yet for this boy toy, Chloe clearly spared no cost. I knew that whatever happened next, I had to face it. Even if it meant tearing everything apart, I wasn't going to let them humiliate me. I went up to the 3rd floor, lit a cigarette, and asked a waiter for their private room number. Room 666. A lucky number, I thought bitterly. Not for long. I stood outside the door, listening to the laughter inside. "Thank you everyone for your hard work." I ignored her. My eyes locked on Chloe. She looked stunning in a white dress doll. Elegant, flawless. I recognized it immediately. She'd bought it a few weeks ago, along with a black suit, supposedly for me. She'd claimed a colleague needed it for a meeting and expensed it to the company. Now, I knew who that suit was for. Chloe froze. A flicker of shock flashing across her face before she quickly composed herself. "Ethan, what are you doing here?" she asked, her voice low. Most of the people in the room knew about us. I saw the uneasy glances. They all knew I wasn't supposed to be here tonight. I didn't answer. I just pulled out a chair, sat down, and lit another cigarette. "Don't mind me," I said calmly. "Keep drinking." No one moved. Chloe, ever the professional, tried to smooth things over. She walked to my side and said softly, "Ethan, are you here to pick me up? Have you eaten?" Then she turned to call the waiter. "Can we get to more dishes, please?" I waved her off. "Don't bother." I've already eaten. She froze, embarrassment coloring her face. The alcohol had already made her cheeks glow, and that white dress clung perfectly to her figure. The tension was unbearable. Caleb fidgeted, clearly uncomfortable, then forced a polite smile. Mr. Hayes, hey, come on, take my seat. He started to scoot over, but Chloe stopped him. Don't worry about it, Caleb. Your boss can sit anywhere. We're almost done here anyway. Caleb's smile wavered, but he tried to play it off. Okay, Chloe, he said, throwing me a smug look that only made my blood boil. Chloe sat back down beside him, pretending everything was fine. Everyone, please eat and drink, she said lightly, even asking the waiter to bring me a new set of plates. I didn't touch the food. I just smoked, watching everyone through a haze. The room was suffocatingly quiet. After a long, awkward pause, Caleb finally spoke. Chloe, this lobster bisque is amazing. You should try, it's great for your skin. He ladled some into her bowl. Thank you, Caleb, Chloe said sweetly. You worked so hard on this deal. What should I get you as a reward? Caleb smiled shyly, his eyes soft with admiration. It's nothing. Doing this for you, Chloe, is all the reward I need. He glanced at me, his expression smug and challenging. That's not enough, Chloe teased. Tell me what you really want. Anything you want, as long as it's in my power, it's yours. Caleb's gaze deepened, locking on her face. Then, I just want to stay by your side forever. He paused, realizing how that sounded, then quickly added, and contribute more to the company, of course. Help your career soar. Clap, clap, clap. The slow, deliberate sound of my applause cut through the air. What a touching display of loyalty, I said, my voice dripping with sarcasm. All eyes turned to me. Chloe's brows furrowed. Ethan, what is your problem? What did Caleb say that's so wrong? I let out a bitter laugh. The mood's perfect. Why don't you two kiss again just for an encore? Her face drained of color. Ethan, what the hell are you talking about? I crushed my cigarette under my shoe, lit another, and exhaled slowly. Am I talking nonsense? Then why don't you ask everyone here how disgusting you two looked just a little while ago? Everyone at the table stared down at their plates, pretending they hadn't seen a thing. You think I'm disgusting? Chloe's voice trembled with disbelief. Was this really the same Ethan she knew? The man who once worshipped her? I smirked. Oh, I could be a lot more disgusting. You want to see? Her face twisted in anger as she tried to steady herself. Ethan, stop this. You're making a scene. There's nothing going on between Caleb and me. We're just colleagues. Whatever issues you have, we can talk about them at home. Don't embarrass me in front of my team. This is a party. Embarrass myself. I laughed, a raw, jagged sound. I stood and planted both hands on the heavy table. With a furious shove, I flipped it over. The room erupted. Plates, glasses, and silverware crashed to the floor. Lobster bisque spilled everywhere and drenched Caleb from head to toe, ruining his black suit. He screamed as the hot soup scalded him, dropping to the floor, writhing and crying out. Chloe's face hardened with fury, her body trembling. Ethan, are you insane? All this over a missed birthday? When did you become so petty? Caleb, gasping, struggled up. Chloe, are you okay? He managed. She rushed to his side, frantically trying to wipe the soup off him, eyes shooting daggers at me. Ethan, you apologize to Caleb right now. Through his pain, Caleb tried to play peacemaker. It's okay. I'm fine. Ethan must just be upset. Chloe looked at Caleb with a mix of adoration and pity, then glared at me. Look at him, Ethan. Look how mature he is, and then look at yourself. I must have been blind to be with you. I laughed coldly. Sure. I'll show you maturity. I strode forward and punched Caleb in the face. There was a sickening thud. Blood spurted from his nose as he collapsed to the floor. Memories of the night flooded me. The lonely cake, the video of them kissing, the way they'd looked at each other. Each image drove the anger hotter. I kicked him hard in the chest. He curled up, gasping. I rained blows down on him, fists, hitting flesh and bone until he lay with 2 black eyes. He was small. I could have done 10 of him with one hand. No one moved to stop me. Chloe finally snapped out of shock and lunged at me, screaming, Ethan, you're crazy. How dare you hit Caleb? I shoved her away. Oh, righty, almost forgot about you, you cheating underscore. I slapped her across the face. The crack echoed. 5 red finger marks bloomed on her perfectly made-up cheek. The blow sent her stumbling. She couldn't believe I'd struck her. Ethan, you bastard. You hit me, really hit me. She shrieked, lunging like some wild animal, a trickle of blood at the corner of her mouth. I flexed my stinging hand, a dark satisfaction burning inside. God, I wanted to do that for a long time. You cheat on me and expect a pat on the back? I slapped her again, this time across the other cheek. Caleb lay unconscious on the floor while Chloe threw herself over him, screaming and protective. Ethan, have you had enough? She cried, unable to understand how a missed birthday had turned me into this monster. Who's the one who's had enough, Chloe? If you wanted to break up, say so. What's all this mentorship charade for? Chloe froze, then screamed, You son of a underscore. Caleb and I are just friends. Apologize now, or I swear this isn't over. I sneered and tossed my phone onto the floor in front of her. Yeah, you two look like great friends. She grabbed the phone. When the video played, her face went white, and she gasped. I laughed coldly. If I'd come any later, would you two have already gotten a room? Chloe stammered. I can explain, Ethan. It's not what it looks like. Explain my ass. I snarled and slapped her again. This time she didn't fight back. She just lowered her head. Don't treat me like an idiot, I growled. I didn't, she whispered, voice tight. She began to speak more, but I kicked her aside and spat. F this. Then I leaned over and spat on Caleb's unconscious face. Everyone watched in stunned silence as I took one last drag from my cigarette and calmly walked out. Chloe panicked and ran after me, but Caleb's weak voice called, Chloe, it hurts so much. I think I'm dying. He was coughing blood, his face swollen and bloody, terrifying. Chloe paused, torn, then turned back. I'll take you to the hospital, she said. Okay, he whispered. I got in my car and sat with the engine running. Chloe's face was full of remorse. Ethan, I'm so sorry. I cut her off. Save it. Go take care of your precious protege. He's badly hurt. He needs you. She froze. Ethan, I've already apologized. You beat him up. I had to beg Caleb not to press charges. Can you please just let it go? Let's go back to how things were, she pleaded. How things were. I scoffed. You mean when you took days off to go shopping with him? When you cooked for him every other day? When you kissed him in front of everyone? And now you want to come back here and pretend nothing happened? Chloe, you make me sick. She looked down, shame written all over her face. Her hands were trembling as she started pulling at her clothes. Ethan, I know I haven't been there for you, but I can be here for you now, okay? Isn't that what couples do? They say if you let it all out, things can be forgiven. I'll give you anything you want. Anything. Her words tumbled out between sobs. I caught her hands, stopping the nightgown from sliding off her shoulder. So you came straight from taking care of your boy toy, and now you're here to service me? Wow, Chloe, you've really mastered time management. Not even Tiger Woods could compete with you. She whispered, eyes full of tears. You think I'm some stray dog that'll take any scrap you throw at me? I shouted, shoving her to the floor. Her face went pale. Ethan, what do I have to do for you to forgive me? Forgive you? I roared. There's no forgiveness. We're done. Get the hell out of my house. Panic flashed across her face. She crawled toward me, begging, No, I don't want to break up, Ethan. I took a deep breath. Fine, you won't leave. Then I will. I grabbed my laptop and walked out. Everything in that house made me sick. I crashed at my childhood friend Rick's place. When he heard what happened, he almost jumped out of his skin. Bro, say the word and I'll get a few guys to break that kid's legs. Just say the word. I gave him a tired smile. No need. I've got better ways to destroy them. Breaking his legs would be doing him a favor. Rick nodded slowly. So what's the plan? I told him coldly, clearly, with a smile that didn't reach my eyes. A pretty boy like Caleb, with women throwing themselves at him, probably wasn't just chasing Chloe. I asked Rick to dig into his background. He was the perfect guy for it, street smart, connected, and ruthless. As for the company, that was my life's work. Chloe wasn't getting a single penny. She'd acted like a queen all these years because I let her. The truth was, I was the one in control. I owned 51% of the company. Chloe had 20%, and the rest was split among the engineers. She liked calling herself the general manager. I never bothered correcting her, but that ended now. Chloe, I muttered to myself, the game starts now.
Oh.
I spent the night calling board members and set an emergency all-hands meeting for the next morning. I wired Rick $10,000 and told him to get me everything he could on Caleb, fast. Then I called my lawyer and told him to get ready. If we were going to war, I'd make sure they both burned. The next morning, the office was buzzing with gossip. People whispered about the announcement, especially those who'd been at the party last night. They already knew what was coming. "Ethan, what's going on?" one of the partners asked. He'd rushed back from a business trip just to be there. He and the others were my original tech team, my people. "You'll see in a minute," said with a grim smile. Chloe arrived late. She looked exhausted, pale, and completely drained. No makeup, no confidence. She ignored everyone who tried to greet her. "What's up with the boss lady today?" Someone whispered, "She," another replied, "Something big's about to go down." When the room was full, I walked to the podium. "Is everyone here?" I asked. Pamela from HR hesitated. "We're missing one person, Caleb Vance. He called in sick, that he doesn't need to come back," I said flatly. "Tell him he's fired. Give him a month's severance." Pamela's eyes darted to Chloe, who was staring blankly ahead, but I cut her off. "No buts." The room fell silent. Then came the murmurs. Everyone was watching Chloe, waiting for her reaction, but she didn't move. I looked around at the stunned faces of the remaining employees. "Does anyone else have an objection to Chloe Sterling's termination?" No one said a word. The entire room was frozen in disbelief. None of them had ever imagined their VP of sales could be involved in something so scandalous. Those who were ready to defend her moments ago now sat speechless. Naturally. I had already sent the evidence of Caleb's affair with Chloe to his sugar mama. The opportunity was too perfect to waste. I heard later that the woman completely lost it. She stormed into the hospital that very day, dragging Caleb out of his bed. He tried to resist, but she'd brought bodyguards. They tied him to the bed frame like he was a trussed-up chicken. Then, for 2 straight hours, she whipped him with a leather belt until there wasn't an inch of unbruised skin left on his body. She even slashed his face with a knife, leaving him permanently scarred. When Rick told me the story, a chill ran down my spine. That woman was something else. Caleb threatened to call the police, but she told him if he did, he'd have to pay back the hundreds of thousands she'd spent on him. He was broke, so he had no choice but to endure it. She didn't stop there. She kicked him between the legs again and again, to the point no one was sure if he'd ever be able to use that part of his body again. By the time Chloe arrived at the hospital, Caleb had already passed out from the pain. When she saw what had happened, she ran straight up to the woman. "Are you the little tramp, Chloe Sterling?" The woman sneered. Pretty face, terrible taste in men. She didn't care that Chloe was a respected businesswoman. Before Chloe could even respond, the woman slapped her hard twice across the face. "You asked for this?" She spat. Chloe screamed, completely humiliated. She wasn't used to being treated this way. She lunged forward, trying to fight, but the bodyguards grabbed her and pinned her arms behind her back. "You've got some nerve," the woman growled. "Do you have any idea who I am?" Then she slapped Chloe over and over until her face was swollen and bruised. "Since you love this boy toy so much," the woman said, smirking, "you can keep him. He's not that great in bed anyway." She patted Chloe's swollen cheek, turned, and walked out right in front of the shocked hospital staff. Someone had filmed the whole thing and posted it online. The title read, "Rich Woman Beats Up Cheating Boy Toy and His Mistress." The video went viral instantly, topping the trending charts. It didn't take long before Chloe and Caleb's identities were exposed. Social media tore them apart, calling her shameless, disgusting, and worse. Caleb's entire past was dragged into the light: his gambling debts, his sugar mama, his gigolo job, and how he manipulated Chloe. The story exploded. Tabloids and streamers camped outside our office building. Chloe didn't dare show her face at work anymore. I stayed out of the mess. I had no interest in feeding gossip. I rented a small apartment near the office and buried myself in work, managing the company and focusing on our technology. As far as I was concerned, Chloe was history. But then, as my lawyers began auditing the company's finances, they uncovered something even worse. In the few months that Caleb had worked with us, Chloe had helped him embezzle over $8 million from client contracts, money meant for upcoming projects. All gone. I was furious. I immediately called the police and had my lawyers file a lawsuit. The evidence was solid, and the amount was huge. So arrest warrants for Chloe and Caleb were issued right away. The next time I saw her, she was kneeling outside the office building for everyone to see. Gone was the powerful, confident businesswoman. She was a wreck. Her hair was tangled. Her eyes were hollow and red from crying. When she saw me, she crawled forward and grabbed my leg. Ethan, I was wrong. I was so wrong. I was a fool. Caleb manipulated me, she sobbed. He tricked me. He told me the money was for client deposits. I swear, Ethan, I'm done with him. Please, I'll be good to you. We can run the company together again. This is our dream. Ethan, the one we built together. She was on the floor, sobbing uncontrollably. Ethan, please, just give me one more chance. We can start over. This time, I'll be the one chasing you. I looked down at her, broken and weeping, and felt nothing but cold contempt. She wasn't truly sorry, she was just terrified. Outside, the flashing lights of a police car reflected through the glass. The silver handcuffs were waiting. Chloe, I said, tilting her chin so she had to meet my eyes. Tell that to the police and to the judge. You'll pay back every cent you stole from this company. Her face twisted in panic. Ethan, no. Please don't. But it was too late. The officers were already there. They pulled her up, snapping the cuffs around her wrists. Her former co-workers watched, their expressions a mix of pity and disgust. As she was led out of the building and into the back of the squad car, Caleb was arrested later in his hospital bed. In court, my lawyer presented an airtight case. The verdict came fast. Chloe was found guilty of embezzling a massive amount of money and sentenced to 20 years in prison. Caleb, guilty of theft, fraud, and prostitution, was also found to be involved in drug trafficking. With all his crimes combined, he was sentenced to life without parole. After the brutal beating from his sugar mama, he was left permanently disabled, condemned to spend the rest of his life in prison. Suffering. When I heard the verdict, I exhaled deeply. They finally got what they deserved. The stolen money couldn't be recovered, so Chloe's 20% stake in the company was seized to cover part of the loss. And with that, the chapter was finally closed. My next mission was clear to lead our company to global success. 6 months later, Pamela from HR knocked on my office door. Mr. Hayes, she said softly, there's a candidate here to interview for the VP of Sales position. Her name is Chloe Sterling. Should I send her in? I froze. What did you just say?